The landscape of generative AI. The fourth session is on the topic, the landscape of generative AI. The resource person is K. Krishnamohan. Now I request Dr. Tri Anuradha Madam to introduce the resource person. Thank you, Madam.
Okay, sir. Good evening, everyone. It's my privilege to introduce our distinguished resource person for today's session, Krishna Mohan Koya, who is the director of Koya Enterprises Private Limited, Bangalore. With over 25 years of professional experience, Krishna Mohan has made significant contributions to the fields of technology and education. Currently working as a technology consultant and corporate trainer since 2008. He specializes in training engineers, both fresh and seniors, in key technologies and software development process, while also providing consulting services on architecture, design, and project management. A passionate mentor and leader, he has successfully led large-scale enterprise software projects, aligning team efforts with organizational goals and nurturing individuals into key contributors. Additionally, he has taught undergraduate and graduate courses, bringing academic and industry expertise together. Over the course of Krishna Mohan's career, they have held several key positions, including associate professor and head of IT, CEO of tech company, and team leader at renowned organizations like Cisco Systems and Wipro. Krishna Mohan is also an accomplished author, contributing blogs and articles and maintaining a technology portal. Their technical expertise spans cutting-edge technologies like Java Spring, AngularJS, Hibernate, and cloud-based enterprise applications. Krishna Mohan's consulting assignments have ranged from enhancing the performance of cloud applications to designing web platforms and optimizing document management systems. We are truly fortunate to have such a versatile and experienced professional with us today. Please join me in welcoming Krishna Mohan Koya to the session. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone, and I am back again. I hope again, thanks to all of you to join the session, and very much to Anuradha ma'am and Sri Nagesh sir for giving this opportunity and giving this wonderful introduction. So today's session is, I thought of, maybe I might not be able to attend today's session because of we are facing a firefighting situation, and even now also I just stopped by in some place and I'm taking this session. I hope it goes well. I couldn't even time to review my slides also, but still I'll try to do my best in my abilities, and I hope the network is also going to help me out. Before I start my session, just a few words about Mr. Mahesh Pathuru, who has given a wonderful session just a while ago. He is one of my what do you call good friends for last 2 decades, and I was happy to see him on this forum after a long gap. He went to Ayodhya, he went to Kumbh Mela, all these days, and again came and started doing all these things. I always amazed about his what you call energy and commitment to whatever he does. He's one of our close friends and inspiration for some of us also here. Good to see him, and thanks Nagesh sir for giving this platform to see him after a long gap. I was away. I'm away from Bangalore for a few weeks, so I could. I was happy to see him a while ago. So having said that, as I mentioned yesterday, I am not from academic background in the area of AI. So whatever I speak is from my personal experience in what we do here in our day-to-day work at our organization. And when Nagesh sir has given this he didn't requested me, in fact, being friends for since the days of engineering. He didn't requested me, rather he only said that you have to give this session. I couldn't say no because he's Dr. Nagesh. But I was always having this confusion like whether I can do justice or not, because I know many of you are accomplished academicians having doctorates. Many of you are, I'm sure, you are pursuing PhD currently. I know how difficult it is because I also registered for PhD about 3 years ago. After 6 months or 7 months, I call it quits because I found that it is not my cup of tea. So I just came out of it. Since then, I have a very high regard to people who pursue these PhDs and other things. And talking in front of people like you is always make me like a bit inferior. But still, since we are coming from different backgrounds, we can always feedback. I can feed something to the people who are in the academies, and I also can learn something from the interaction out of this particular program. So I'll be switching off my video now, and I'll share my screen, and we'll run the slides hereafter. Please let me know once the screen is visible. If anyone can confirm, please. Sir. Very good. Thank you. Right. So the title of the program is Landscape of Generative AI Models, which itself is very subjective. I was actually having two minds, like what should I cover under this title. One is one way of attending this particular assignment is talking about like how AI really works in different fields of businesses, research, governmental activities, and etc. That is one way of seeing like how much generative AI is penetrating into different areas. That is one way of doing it. Another way is like just limit myself to because I know this program is not actually an event or something. Rather, it is more for the people like you who are going to carry this what do you call few learnings that we may take from here and distribute or share this knowledge with your students. So I thought of keeping limit myself to whatever is relevant for the people who are essentially faculty people, right? So that way, this is the agenda, basic agenda. In fact, I was supposed to give this session at 6 o'clock, but as I mentioned, I held up with few other things. So these are flipped. Mahesh's session was moved forward and my session was pushed back. But otherwise, my session is supposed to come first, where I am supposed to talk about the general ideas about like what this generative AI and all about, so that Mahesh would have gone into specifics with respect to whatever topic he's spoken. Sorry for the inconvenience because of my unavailability. But for this session, the agenda is like about me. I'll definitely skip it because we met yesterday also. Most of you were there yesterday also. What is generative AI? The general, what do you call, understanding of it. We'll review some of the models, bit of theoretical stuff here. Then what popular offerings we have, that is where we get into the landscaping. And finally, we look at the future of Gen AI from our perspective. So, so let's start with what is generative AI. So overview, we have seen it yesterday. And the speaker who spoke yesterday after my session, I was there throughout the session. He gave wonderful insights. He gave us a lot of tools to deal with at different points of both academic activities, research activities, and also in other areas. Many of them I was not even aware. So I was fortunate to be there in the second session. So by attending all these three sessions, yesterday's two sessions and today's one more session already, definitely all of us must be having and a general understanding, even if it is first time that we are seeing generative AI, if we have any of such people, Definitely by now we would have got an idea about like what is generative AI. All right, as a marketing statement, we can simply say like generative AI is revolutionizing industries by creating new content autonomously. Right? I see this word like revolutionizing every now and then. For every couple of years, we see one other thing coming into picture and revolutionizing. So I simply see this as just a marketing statement. I do not really care about it from the academic perspective. But definitely we can say that generative AI is a disruptive technology where industries, general public, academies, everyone can has to adopt, has to readjust, has to what do you call gain out of it, because it creates new content autonomously. By that way, it is going to replace lot of manual processes. Otherwise, lot of manual processes with these autonomous content generation processes. So that is where generative AI is standing as of now. So because of this, we'll be having enhanced creativity. My son is a he's a person who is as a hobby he does a lot of comics. Previously, about till 2 3 years ago, when he built this comic series and other things, he used to draw everything on his own, and he used to create a lot of characters, which were, of course, creativity amazes everyone, right? So I was also amazed at his creative skills. But he took a lot of time to create those characters. But now, even I can also create them without being an artist, just by using generative AI. All right, so that yesterday we have used that word democratization, right? So that kind of democratization of creativity, everybody can be a creator now. And the automation, whatever we do, whether it is engineering processes or industrial processes or healthcare processes, banking processes, anywhere, many of the things we can automate. And ultimate aim of doing any of these things is to make it more transparent, efficient, unbiased, and etc. So Gen AI definitely results in such kind of an impact. All right, so that last point is also same thing. It is talking about like applications span across various fields like the healthcare, finance, entertainment, and more. So what is generative AI in general? Right? It refers to models that produce new data resembling training data. So it reads a lot of text and generates its own text. It reads a lot of images, understands it, and creates its own images. It listens to a lot of music and creates its own music, and so on. It is just mimicking of what we do in general, right? Gen AI is not something completely different. It is just part of AI. If you decipher AI, it is artificial intelligence. So it ultimately intelligence, like what we as intelligent creator, what we do in general. I read several stories since my childhood in magazines so that I am also able to write stories now. I saw pictures drawn by several artists earlier. So from there, I picked a few things and now I am able to draw some pictures as well. I listen to, let's say, Kishore Kumar songs since childhood. Now I can also hum a bit of it. I have seen wonderful teachers explaining concepts, and I picked up some of the cues out of it. And now I am able to use some of those things at least to explain things to others. Generative AI also does the same thing. It learns from existing data, existing training data, and produce the new data, synthesizes that new data which resembles that existing data. So these are all the tools. Yesterday, our sir has given much more number of tools in different areas. So you have better idea than me in that area, essentially. So how it works in general, models are trained on massive data sets to learn patterns. I cannot define what is massive here, right? I do not have quantifiable number there, but we know for me as a person, let's say as a 5-year-old person, if I am drawing a picture of a, let's say, a house, right? In my childhood days, not only me, many of our friends, the first picture was always like having a small hut. Besides that, one side you have a coconut tree, on another side you have a banana tree, and in front of the home we have a cow. I basically originally hails from West Godavari district in Andhra Pradesh. So that is what we see everywhere, and that is what we used to make as a picture. Not only me, everyone else. All right. So basically, the thing here is like we keep seeing all these things here. 5-year old, fifth standard means maybe I was about 8-year old or 9-year old at that time. So for 9 years, I saw a lot of things in this world like anybody else. I processed the data, I processed all my observations, I made some what you call interpretations, I remembered few things, I discarded few things, and finally, as a 9-year-old child, I was able to produce a picture of a home where I was assuming that the pattern generally in these localities where I have spent my childhood is that everywhere if there is a home, there will be a coconut tree, there will be some banana tree, and most of these guys are also having some cows. So that is the pattern I found. I'm not keeping a camel there because I'm not coming from some desert. I'm not keeping, let's say, some wheat kind of a thing, agriculture field behind the home, because I have never seen them. Same thing Gen AI things also work. The same pattern it is. It is basically like it goes through massive amounts of data. If I just compute like how much of data as a 9-year-old child that for those 9 years, how much of data I could have or I might have processed to come to a conclusion that a home is supposed to have these kind of trees and cows and homes supposed to look like this. Nobody was teaching me. Nobody taught me that this is how you need to put a picture. But when somebody asked me like put a picture of your home, that is what I put. So if you compute, if you quantify the amount of information I went through or I processed, when I say I, anybody of that age, right? Any boy or girl of 9 years old means for 9 years, how much of information they have processed, how many patterns they have identified. If you quantify, it is definitely massive. Systems also process that much of information. That's where I cannot quantify. That's what I'm saying here. Massive means it is too massive. It is beyond our imagination. It would be going through those many number of what you call data sets so that it can pick up the patterns, so that it can generate patterns just like any human being does. I need not to stress this point again and again. I hope we are aware of this basic tenet of generative AI. Fine tuning is one of the most important things. So if I again reflect back to my example, so as a 5th standard student, that is the picture I have put as a home. But if you ask me to put a picture now again, now I am 53 years old. I might have processed a lot of other information, lot of information. I have seen homes, how they are changing. I am refining my understanding of like how a home should look like or how a home looks like as of today. Do we have a cow in front of our home? Definitely not. Currently, what we are having is every home is having a compound wall with a big gate. That is what I'm saying. I never saw those things in childhood days. But now everybody is like in a small compartment with big gate. And more than coconut trees, I am seeing some decorative plants. I do not know their names in English. I am not from English medium in my childhood days. So many of the names I still do not know. But I'm seeing such kind of decorative plants. There are no coconuts, no cows. So unless I fine tune, unless I refine my understanding continuously, what I generate as a picture of a house today becomes irrelevant. Gen AI algorithms also does the same thing. They observe they process massive data sets, learn patterns, generates responses, and again, as part of a feedback loop, they learn from the interpretations and responses, and they keep on fine-tuning it so that the quality of the output improves relentlessly. The key techniques, if we just look at in the generative AI, these are 3 things. We keep seeing them coming across in different places, definitely. Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. Being coming from this kind of background, you must be knowing much better than me. But in general, if some of you are new to this area, when we talk about artificial intelligence comes out of learning, and this learning can be done in 3 different ways. One of them is like somebody supervises what you should learn, how should you learn, how much you should learn, right? That is basically we call it as labeled data. You give some metadata about the data so that the what do you call the models learn from that kind of, basically they get some cues, they get some kind of hand holding. That is supervised learning. In the case of unsupervised learning, the models find patterns without labels. Definitely this is a little more difficult thing. Finally, the reinforcement learning. Models improve based on feedback. What I see in general, maybe I may be repeating the statement, what I see in general is that what we do as a intelligent creature, as a human being, not only human beings, but any intelligent creator, what we do is like we go through the same three kinds of learning phases in any learning curve. In the initial days, right, in the initial days, we used to have very much supervised learning. Teacher teaches everything to us. They do not allow us to go and learn something and explain it to us. No, they teach us everything and we just learn based on what they are saying. That is supervised learning. At some point of time, we get some idea about like what we are doing here. And then we can go into the unsupervised learning. There they do not prescribe textbooks, they may not be having lectures, they may not be having classrooms. They only say that, okay, go and refer in your library or whatever and come and explain us like what you understand. That is unsupervised learning. And finally, reinforcement learning is like nobody really tell you that you need to learn. Nobody really tell you like, okay, go to these, refer these books and come back. No, it is like you, by practical experience, personal experience, you learn out of experience. That is reinforcement learning. It is nothing to do with Gen AI. In any intelligent system goes through these three varieties of learning techniques. When it comes to the models with respect to the Gen AI, this is where things come into picture. We know ANN, CNN. Again, I'm not going back to those things. One of the things that is very much specific to the Gen AI is generative adversarial networks. Right? You see in our Bollywood or Tollywood or any movie, in fact, Hollywood also, you'll have a hero and a villain, or heroine and a villainian, whatever, right? They are adversaries to each other. Somebody try to construct, somebody try to destroy, right? That's what always you see, right? Somebody try to create something good for the society, the other person try to destroy it, and the fight between these two forces, whether you see our what do you call epics, or we see stories, or we see history, or we see movies, everywhere it is the same story. That kind of an idea is being used here in Gen AI. There will be two parties adverse to each other. There will be two parties adverse to each other. One is generator and another one is discriminator. By the names itself, we can easily understand. A generator is the one somebody generates or creates content. A generator is somebody, the model basically that creates content. Synthetic content is what to say in exactly, but let us stick to this small word. Like generator is the one which creates the content, and discriminator is try to what do you call discard that content by finding problems with that content. So they compete with each other. They compete with each other in such a way that whatever generates that is getting generated, the discriminator tries to find faults in it, and generate takes that feedback and try to refine it so that it creates new content that is better than earlier. Discriminator again try to find faults in it and gives that feedback, and generator again refines it. So it is a loop. It is a feedback loop. At some point of time, discriminator may not be able to find faults depending on whatever it learns. And that is the time generator says that, okay, then whatever I have generates now may be meeting the expectations, and that's what we see as the outcome. So this is the same flow we see in Gen AIs, whether it is about image synthesis or deepfake creation or whatever we see. Always we see these two parties fighting with, not fighting actually, they compete with each other. They compete with each other. If the discriminator is not an intelligent guy, whatever nonsense that generator may generate in the first iteration may become the output. We may not like it. If generator is not an intelligent guy, in the sense like it do not work on the feedback that discriminator gives, then also you'll not be getting a good quality of the output. So both the generators as well as discriminator, both of them must be competitive enough in such a way that by competing with each other, they come with a better output. Many of us are coming from basic computer science, right? So we all know the other two roles. Just to give an analogy, another analogy, I'm seeing people from other what do you call branches of engineering. Since I just joined about 15-20 minutes ago, I'm seeing people from civil engineering and other places also. So I'm just keeping them in mind. Let me give one more analogy. When we are trying to develop anything, right? Whether it is engineering or non-engineering also, somebody creates something and there will be always a department called quality control department. They always try to find faults in that. That is their job. They must be there. Only then when they say like, okay, this quality is not good, only then the producer who is producing that artifact, they can make things better. And this loop goes on. At some point of time, if the quality assurance people say that, yeah, this is looking good, then whatever you have produced must be better than anything else that was produced earlier. Even in software engineering also, you write code, the tester try to destroy that. They write more and more test cases to find faults in it. They find the faults actually. As a developer, we try to fortify the code so that there will be less number of defects in the next cycle. At some point of time, the tester will not be able to find any defects in it. That's how our quality of the code improves. Same thing here also, right? Basically, just analogies, nothing more than that. Going a little more deeper into the generative adversarial networks, credit goes to Goodfellow, right? The name itself is interesting. Sometime about a decade ago. This is relatively new technologies, right? Most of these things. So about a decade ago, it was these models were introduced. The generator, typically in the pictures and everywhere, you generally see it as G, abbreviated as G. Discriminator is abbreviated typically as a D. So the generator takes random noise and generates synthetic data that mimics real data. Let me again give another analogy. Let's say there is a student. I'm just giving something related to what you are, most of you are in that profession, right? There is a student. You are doing an interview, maybe Viva or something like that. You ask him like some question. You ask like, what is generative AI, for example. He may not be having much of an idea, but still we see a lot of interesting scenarios, right? Students, even without having any idea, they give some answer just to see that if that can work. I also gave such kind of answers in when I was a student. There is a cow story, right? We all know the cow story. Whatever you ask, you just connect those words and finally go to cow and talk about cow because you know that cow better. So as an evaluator, if I say that, okay, student, what you are saying doesn't make any sense, go back and come back next week. That is discriminator's job. Then that student feels like, okay, I just gathered some nonsense and tried to attempt to satisfy my instructor. It didn't work. So now let me look at few other things. He may go to hostel and ask his friends saying like, okay, I have next round of Viva. They are asking for generative AI. Tell me what should I answer? They may give some answers. They may say like, okay, next time they ask for generative AI, you talk about chat GPT, you talk about XYZ, blah, blah, blah. So he gathered some more information. So in the next round of Viva, he comes back. And this time when you say like, explain Gen AI, he may say like, yeah, Gen AI is part of AI, or it's a specialization of AI. In this case, it generates some content like what we see in case of generative chat GPT, or the some of the what you call tools that artists use, where I can see like I see a lot of pictures which are not real people picture, but they are very realistic. So that is what Gen AI. This answer is much better than the earlier answer, but still it is containing a lot of noise. He is filling out with a lot of unnecessary wording there, because again they are attempting like whether it satisfies the instructor with my lesser effort. If the instructor says that, yeah, this is better than that, but this is just a second class student's answer. You're an engineering student. Go back and study again and come back in the next week. then he put little more effort, he or she, whatever, right? Put little more effort. May read something, may gather here, may look at some presentations, may watch some YouTube videos, and may come back and give a better answer. So this will go on like as long as the instructor feels like that fellow can still do better than this. Or instructor feels like, okay, I know this much, and the student is also telling more or less the same thing. So that's okay then. Let us leave this guy here. So that is the process, right? So initially it starts from random noise and try to generate some synthetic data which mimics real data as if like it is a real data. Basically, its aim is to fool the discriminator. When you look into the dialogue between a student and an evaluator, or a job seeker and an interviewer, you see this scenario everywhere, right? We try to fool the other fellow as if like I know everything. Right? The other fellow, the instructor or the evaluator, their job is to say like, okay, I'm not a fool. Right? This is where the problem is. Go back. Okay. So the aim of the generator is to fool the discriminator into believing that the generated data is actually real data. As this training progresses, it becomes better and better and better, and finally you'll be getting some more or better realistic outputs. On the other hand, the discriminator's job is to evaluate whether the given input is real from the actual data set or fake from the generator. They basically keep comparing these things. Both of them are intelligent. Remember, both of them are intelligent. It provides feedback to the generator by assigning probabilities like, okay, so you said this one, but no, it is not meeting the expectation. This guy, okay, 90% fine. The other parameter, not at all. Maybe it is just only 20%. So it assign probabilities and tell that, okay, you are in these brackets. Go and refine. The goal is to essentially to improve the accuracy so that it can distinguish what is real and what is fake. So that way, if you talk about Gen AI models, you always talk about generators and discriminator, without which there is nothing. Okay. So how it actually works? Again, whatever I just explained, I'm just put as one more slide here, which I forgot. As I said, I couldn't get a chance to relook at these slides also today. So the training process is like random noise is fed into the generator, which produces synthetic data, as we have seen already. The synthetic data and real data are passed to the discriminator for evaluation. The discriminator classifies the data whether it is real or fake and provides the feedback, and generator learns from this feedback and tries to produce better fake data. Again, it is synthetic data only, but better data. So the cycle continues until generator produces data that is indistinguishable from the real data. Again, whatever we just have seen. So this is where we have few variants also in these GANs. You have DC GAN, cycle GAN, and style GAN. I am not even sure whether that is how we should pronounce. I haven't seen oral explanation about them here. I only read this kind of literature. Whether it is Jan or GAN, how they are pronouncing, I'm not sure. But these are the three things I come across. One is DC GAN or deep convolutional GAN. This is where it uses convolutional layers to generate high resolution images kind of stuff. Cycle is like converts images from one domain to another domain. For example, a nice example, in fact. In fact, until I saw that example, I was not able to understand what is actually cycle GAN is. They are saying like, okay, you give me a photo, I'll give you it, I make it as a painting. In our organization, we use what you call Figma and Canva, these kind of tools for our marketing practices. We run several social media channels, right? Whether it is Instagram or the LinkedIn or wherever, we run a lot of marketing campaigns. We are not in a position to afford build images, or we are not that rich where we can hire some models to talk for us about us or on behalf of us. We are not that big. We are very small organization. So what do? We use these tools, Canva and kind of tools. We give a picture in the sense a photograph. Let's say I give my photograph, and let's say I am going to give a statement, and that is what need to be present in my social media channels prominently. Maybe I am making an announcement being a CEO. If I give my photograph as it is, it looks normal these days, right? But if I put that as a kind of a sketched paint, not painting, as a sketch or as a painting or a caricature, something like that. It looks like a creative thing. It still shows me only. People can recognize that it is Krishna only, but it is not a photograph. Rather, it is an artistic work. We do those things using Canva and few other tools. And how they are, what they are doing essentially is by applying this variety of Gen AI network, that is CycleGAN. And StyleGAN is developed by NVIDIA. It is to generate highly realistic human faces with customizable features. That's what scares me actually. Right? But that is another what do you call variant of these generative adversarial networks. Okay, a bit of some kind of theory. There is one more thing. I couldn't get head and tail of this one, but still I put it as a slide so that at least you know that there exists something called variational autoencoders. So the encode, what do you call, basically these networks, they encode data into compressed format and reconstruct it. Again, I have no clue. I just put this statement verbatim. Used for data compression and anomaly detection, typically used in image generation and what do you call denoising tasks. I'm very sorry, I have no other further information. This is one of the variety of what do you call networks that are used in Gen AI. People who are doing maybe what do you call work in this area, maybe you need to look into this one as well to say that we know more about Gen AI. Towards my session, I'll be closing in the next few minutes. In fact, I would like to invite people who are working in this area, like VIEs, if they can add some points to this, it would be useful not only for me, but for every one of us as well. And then Gen AI revolves around transformers. Yesterday we have seen these things, right? Transformers and diffusion models and etc. The GPTs and BRTs, all these guys uses these models. So based on attention mechanisms for natural language understanding, essentially in the NLP area, they use these transformer models. Transformers consists of two things, encoders and decoders. Encoder's job is to understand the input sequence and extract meaningful features out of it. And decoders is to generate output token by token. As we mentioned earlier, Gen AI is all about finding patterns in the trained massive data and generate resembling data. So the encoders are the ones which actually extracts these patterns out of it. They extract the meaningful features or patterns or whatever, token by token, token by token. Decoders are the ones which generates output, again token by token. So these two are part of these transformer models that we see typically in GPT kind of systems. While GPT focusing on text generation, the BERT is focusing more on making sense of what it is reading. So in chatbots and content generation, obviously they are the obvious use cases. And diffusion models typically you see in the artistic front, gradually transform noise into meaningful images, meaningful videos, and etc. Used in AI art, high quality image, forget about all these things. In fact, sometimes I feel little boring to say that Gen AI is used in image generation, because for me, image generation became like a stock situation. Like, yeah, we know it. We have been seeing it. What I am really amazed in these recent days is that forget about still images. I'm able to see the videographs themselves. I'm able to see the videographs themselves in our organization. Again, in our marketing department, let's say if I want to give a speech, for example, I want to give a speech. Is it possible for me to present every time? I'm not saying that I'm that busy or something. I'm not that big guy. But still, practically it may not be possible. Sometimes I might be present, sometimes, just like what happened today, maybe I'm held up with something else. But still, if I need to give a feed, I have to give that feed. I forgot what tool that my team uses actually. What they do is like, they ask me to speak for 10 minutes. Not now, about 6-7 months ago, they asked me to speak for 15 to 20 minutes, I think. That much time I have spoken on video. They gave me what do you call a topic, saying like, Krishna, Just give me a moment. All right. So they gave me a topic and asked me to speak. I spoke for about 10 minutes. It is not for anybody's consumption. It is only for that particular tool to understand what is my pronunciation, how I, use my, hands or body language. Yeah, can I request someone to mute? I think I'm seeing some noise. Right. So they were observing, like the tool was observing, like how I am pronouncing things, how my movement on face, lip movement especially, and facial expressions, and how my hands are moving, what is my posture, all the things it was trying to understand from those 20 minutes of my blabbering, to put it as blabbering. It learned, right? It learned. And now, if I want to give another speech to my organization, we do not do it to the outsiders because we do not want to fool outsiders, right? You should not actually. Legally, it is not correct. In our organization only, if I need to address my employees, or let's say I want to announce that we are starting a new project and I want to congratulate the project team. I might not be there. Actually, I might not be congratulating anybody. I might write just as a note. Maybe I write a 5-minute note and I feed it into this tool. And what this tool does, it reads that content and generates a video as if like I am speaking that content. I get surprised to see myself speaking, which I never spoke actually. When I see that kind of content generation, image generation, I do not really bother about these days. Image generation, yeah, it was an interesting thing. Maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, I was actually introduced to all of these things just a year ago. But now I'm not really that much surprised about all these images. Rather, I am now surprised about the quality of the videos themselves are getting generated. I never spoke, but I have a video as if like I spoke. This is one way it is very scary. It is as if like if somebody can capture my body language and voice culture and other things, they can create videos saying like Krishna spoke about this. You will see politicians will be employing people only to generate these things. Maybe one politician may say like, see that fellow was insulting our leader, and he may release a video saying that this is what he was saying. It might be completely fake. It might be completely fake. Maybe it is, but still, it is very difficult to find it is fake. By the time people actually realize, if at all they realize, many people may be actually imagining or believing that this person spoke ill about a particular leader. You may see a social unrest because of that. Technology is always like double-edged sword. We all agree with that. I agree with that. But still, as I mentioned, when the second bullet says that diffusion models are used in AI art and high quality image generation, maybe that is a passe. Now we can say in generating high quality even videos also. All right, so that is where you have the DALIs, stable diffusions, and I forgot which tool we are using. I actually paid money for that, but I forgot that tool name because I never use it. Only once I gave my speech, and after that the team is taking care of it. So I'm not really sure about it. So then apart from diffusion models and transformer models, you have the hybrid models where you combine many of these things so that you will build more robust AI systems. More robust AI systems. All right. So this is what I could put together with respect to the models that are related to Gen AI. When it comes to powerful offerings, see, the technology is fine, concepts are fine, but especially we may not be much relevant to the in the academic world. Again, pardon me for saying that, but I know I'm generalizing the statement, but I always see two varieties of academicians, or two varieties of academic institutions, two kinds of academic institutions. One institution just teaches from textbooks, teaches from here, teaches from there, gather information and transfer that knowledge to the students. Unfortunately, the places where I studied were more of that nature. The second variety of academic institutions essentially inspires people to come or to what do you call innovate things. To innovate things, right? This is with respect to academy. When it comes to industry, because we are here to make profit, right? Industry is essentially industry or anything. We are here to make profit so that we can live and I can pay salaries to my employees and etc. So that means I always need to be ahead of my competition. Otherwise, I'm done. If I need to do that, I do not spend a lot of time in learning fundamentals and other things. Rather, I look for where I can increase my productivity. So that is where the basic difference is. In the industry, we look at productivity. In the academic world, we focus more on the concepts and etc. So that first level, we share the knowledge. Second level, we inspire them to come up with the new tools and technologies so that industry can make use of them. Unfortunately, in our country, this kind of what do you call feedback is not that what do you call prominent. Whereas in other countries, especially in the developed countries, we can see that the most intelligent people actually take up teaching as the profession. The second, what do you call, level of people go to the industry. Unfortunately, in our case, the impression we are getting as if like the top of the cream go to the industry, and if they do not find a job, then they come to academy. We need to change that. Actually, that impression, it is responsibility of the academicians like you only, of course. But why I'm saying all these things is because being not from academic world, even though I worked for just 1 year as in my hometown as a time pass activity, I worked for a college, but I was not a good academician. I was never a good student. I was never a good scholar. I was never a good academic person. I'm not saying that I'm a good person as an industry or something. I can survive with whatever I do, that much only. But this next set of things are more about applications, more about improving the productivity. Whether in your curriculums, in your college setup, in your institutional setup, whether you are going to use them or not, whether they are going to be useful for you or not, depends on, as I mentioned, what kind of institution you are working in. Are you limiting yourself to only knowledge transfer, or you are inspiring people to create new knowledge base? Two levels. Yesterday, our distinguished guest who spoke after me, was talking about like how different universities first refusing to allow what do you call the AI in the academy, in the learning part, as a part of learning, what do you call tools. Then they try to slowly open up and they try to adapt it, right? That is a cycle always. Any technology anywhere, it is a cycle, of course. But at the end of the day, my personal opinion, of course, any technology is for the overall good of the society. What is your society? How do you define, or how we define? I'm sorry to say that word you, but we. How do we define the society? How do we define what is good for the society? That is subjective. But our intention must always be, as an academician, or as a healthcare provider, or as a, let's say, a bus driver, or as a farmer. Our first intention must always be to do good, as much good as possible. That is our first intention, must be, right? So when we look from that perspective, if we try to protect our feet by avoiding the technology, we are not only doing bad to us, we are doing bad to the rest of the society as well. Harvard may be a big university. There may be very good, accomplished people we might have seen, several people we might have seen. But if Harvard says that we do not allow people to use ChatGPT, that is nonsense. That is utter nonsense. At some point of time, they have to say, yeah, we allow ChatGPT fully. If it comes naturally, there is lesser of friction. If I observe one more thing, let us say before COVID, or when I was a professor, not professor actually, they gave that designation like associate professor or something, but I was just an MTech person only. But I was a HOD for a department of IT in my college in my hometown. One of the duties that many of my people used to do is like go and search every student's bag to see whether they are using a mobile phone or not. After all, those days, there were not even smartphones. It was way back in 2006. Around in 2006, when I was working as a HOD, my principal told that, Krishna sir, you people typically call everybody as a sir, right? So he used to say like, Krishna sir, make sure that no student is carrying mobile phone. If you find, confiscate it. Now what is happening? After COVID, what is happening? The entire delivery of the lecture, entire delivery of your assignments, everything is happening over phone only. These phones are much more dangerous than the normal phones we have back in those pre-COVID days. So it is only our, what do we call, mindset that we need to change. If we try to resist something, we are not only doing bad to us, we are doing bad to the rest of the society also. When I'm feeding my students saying that I teach you, there is a textbook, you only read the textbook and reproduce the same thing in your answer sheet. Maybe he's doing good. He may be getting 9 point or 10 point CGPA also. But in our other institution, if the professor is saying that you go through ChatGPT, learn whatever you learn. If you have any questions, come back to me. You submit this assignment, that is what all matters. You give a lecture, that is what all matters. You publish a paper, that is what all matters. It doesn't mean whether I teach you or ChatGPT teach you. Definitely, the student in the second institution get more opportunities than the person who is studying in the first kind of institution. Whether first institution is a Harvard University or some other university, doesn't matter. Right? Maybe I'm digressing from the point here, but why I'm including these slides here is because maybe some of you might be resisting, saying like, okay, students should not use this or should not even know about these things. But I would feel happy progressively if you can share this knowledge. I'm sure most of you may be knowing all these things. They are not like, that is what we are saying, like democratization of knowledge, democratization of everything. Why should only some people will be, what do you call, privileged to get only some of these things? It is available for everyone. Who are we to stop it? So if as an academician, if you are interested, saying like, okay, students, not only about the concepts of ANN, BNN, CNN, DNN, not only about discriminators and what do you call, generators, not only about decoders and encoders, and many other things which definitely I do not know. Apart from those things, if we also talk about what are all the tools and applications that are there in this particular world as of today, which they can use to become more and more productive, so that a prospective person who is going to hire their services find a lot of value in that person. Right? So with that intention, I just put together few of the things here. One of them is, of course, the superstar of everybody, or popular star of everybody. In fact, many people aware of these things. Whether it is the most what do you call, solid one or not is always a questionable thing. Many people know about Windows, but we know what is good between Windows and Linux. Right? That way, ChatGPT, one way or other way, is more popular. Everybody knows about it. That is coming from OpenAI. I'm not sure how long this organization can survive, because bigger organizations are trying to, what do you call, catch this and eat this completely. As of now, it is OpenAI. As of now, it is what do you call, doing a lot of good. I would say a lot of good to the society. So in the version 3, they introduce human-like text capabilities. That is what we have seen. Now it is having some enhanced reasoning, factual accuracy. This is becoming more and more and more better, right? When you do not have a free account with ChatGPT, when you ask a lot of questions, you typically get answers from ChatGPT 4. But there is a limit. After that limit, it will say like, okay, for this daily quota, your ChatGPT 4 is completed, your quota for ChatGPT 4. From here onwards, you'll be getting answers from ChatGPT 3. Whether it is 3 or 4, you always see that disclaimer saying that ChatGPT may be wrong. Please verify the results for yourself. Because anybody can be wrong, in fact, not only ChatGPT. There was a big debate. In fact, today that was the debate, saying like, should we allow autonomous cars or not? Always the question is about, okay, if a car hits somebody, who is held responsible for that? That argument is completely valid. I'm not saying no to that. But at the same time, do you think only machines do the mistakes? Do you think all these accidents that have been happening all these years, ever since the automobile was introduced, none of them are because of artificial intelligence. None of them are because of autonomous systems. They are all because of human beings, human drivers. So when you are okay to give a driving license to somebody and see and assume, or you believe that this fellow will drive correctly and will not hit anybody, but still we see how many people dying or how many accidents are happening every year. If you see, I live in Bengaluru. Last year, 23-24, in that year they have some year, like we have academic year, they have some year. In that year itself, in the jurisdiction of Bengaluru, there were about 225 fatalities because of car accidents. When this is what is happening in just one small city, maybe fourth largest city in India, but if you look at across the world with respect to car population, it is nothing. It is small city only. When these many things are happening, why you are stopping this technology just by saying that what a machine can do wrong? All right. Of course, this is a very subjective thing. Many people, some people may say good with, maybe happy with it. Some people may not be. Uh, yeah, there is a noise here. Can somebody please mute from your side? I try to mute it, but it is not muting.
I have muted. No problem. I have muted.
Oh, great, great. Thanks, sir, Nagesh Garu. Right. So, when ChatGPT says that I may be wrong, let it be wrong, because it is not that ChatGPT is foolish. It's a fool. I may be wrong. You may be wrong. Everybody can be wrong. Aristotle said, "What is the solar system?" He told something. Everybody said, "Oh, he's a genius." Now we know what kind of foolish statement he gave on that day. Anybody can be wrong, including ChatGPT. It is nothing like ChatGPT can be wrong. Human beings can never be wrong. So with that confidence, I use ChatGPT. Like, I never say like, okay, oh, it is saying that it may be giving inaccurate results. So let me speak to my friend. I know that that friend also can be wrong. It is my duty. That is where my cognitive skills, I need to apply my skills. I should be able to identify whether it is right or wrong from my experience. I may be also wrong in that. That's a never ending loop, of course. So ChatGPT 3 may not be that accurate. ChatGPT 4 is much better accurate. I'm not saying it is, neither me nor the OpenAI say that it is 100% accurate. That number, 100% accurate number, should never be there. I hope it will, no marketer will say like we are 100% accurate at any point of time, because in theory or in practical, it is not possible. But however, we know that ChatGPT or the GPT series from OpenAI is one of the most famous offerings that we see in the Gen AI front. Then comes DALI. This is more about generating the images just by looking at textual descriptions. Somebody, I don't know where I heard, whether it is yesterday's session or some other talk yesterday or somewhere else. Somebody, what they try to do is like, we have Charminar in Hyderabad, right? And there is in Telangana, there is one place where they have some handloom, very famous handloom, like Pochampalli or something. So what they try to do is like, they try to create a picture of the Charminar by what do you call, wrapping it with a clothing item that is made up of that particular artistic style, maybe Pochampalli or something, I do not, Gadwal or something like that. So for that, they didn't draw anything. They only said that I need a Charminar picture, but it should be wrapped by a sari that is of so and so kind of sari, so and so kind of what do you call handloom technique. Give me the picture, and it gave the picture. It is nice picture actually. I have seen that. So just by giving textual descriptions itself, you are able to generate the images. As I was saying that my younger son is a very good artist. Of course, for every parent, childs are always good, blah blah blah. Same way also for me also, I see like he's a good artist. My elder son is a game developer. their professions are different. My elder son works in a gaming company only, company called Rockstar, something like that. My younger son is from an agriculture background. He's from a BS agriculture and he's a business person. He works in my organization. He deals with my agri-tech division. But as a hobby, they are building some series. I don't know what they are doing. Always what I see is like what they discuss. What I see is like my elder son keep on giving instructions. I need a character. That character should look like very arrogant. Character should be from African background. Character must be of this age group, maybe male or female. And but that is that is an educated fellow only. But rich guy, he give all those instructions. These are all oral instructions, just like these text instructions. And my younger son worked for, let us say, 3 4 days and comes with different models saying that, is this fine, is this fine, is this fine. He draw everything using just pencil and paper only initially. The elder one sees them, okay, yeah, first one looking good, second one, no, this guy is not looking like a rich person or educated person. Yeah, that arrogance is not there here. You put that additional thing, you put maybe a tick mark here, you put a tattoo on this shoulder, blah blah blah. He gives something more, and at some point of time, after refining, finally he get the character, and that character he put into in his game that he is trying to develop. Same thing happens with DALI also. You give text descriptions, DALI generates the images. Looking at, we have seen the model, basic models, right? It is like somebody try to give a picture by fooling, trying to fool the discriminator. Discriminator say that no, it doesn't look nice, do much more. And at some point of time, you will be generating, the DALI is going to generate the image. It is used in creative design and content creation. Of course, challenges include bias, image accuracy, blah, blah, blah. That is, of course, for any technology, you have one or other kind of a challenge. Stable diffusion, open source image generation model. It is open source, so we are happy with open source tools. Enables local deployment and customization. So it need not be always software as a service model. It need not be a cloud service. I can install on my on premises by purchasing license, and I can customize for my needs, and there from thereafter I can get my images generated. Of course, it is very popular in the artistic community. I do not belong to that community, but my marketing team definitely use some tools in this kind of front, but not stable diffusion, but some tool they use to get this kind of stuff. From Anthropic, we have Claude. So it is designed for AI safety and ethical considerations, focuses on conversational AI with safety guardrails. It competes with OpenAI models. I'm seeing like how this competition actually turns out to be and who wins the race here. I do not have ready-made what do you call ready information more about this particular thing. I do not have any hands-on, but everybody talks about this one also, apart from OpenAI. Then you have what do you call this is coming from Meta. So it is open source again, large scale learning model focused on efficiency, tailored for research and business applications. Anything Meta does is majorly meant for business applications and of course research. And these are tailored for that. LLAM, LLAMA, right? And the interesting thing here is that you need not to have a bomb to spend to get these things done. You can have moderately powerful machines and you can run these what do you call tools on those things, right? And that is from Meta. And Google Gemini, this became like a villain in my life. 3 days ago, I was about to make a presentation to some prominent people. So I started a Google Meet. Instead of opening my video, Google Gemini came. It was keep on asking me like, Krishna, do you want to what do you call invoke Gemini? I was keep on saying no, I don't want. I don't want too many number of tools occupying my space here. I'm happy with the other tools. So I'm saying Gemini, I don't require. I don't want. It is keep on giving me that as a suggestion. It can help you more. I was keep on saying like no, not now. On that day, it took revenge on me. It came and blocked my entire video, the Google Meet video, and put a big picture saying that either you allow me or I will not go away. So I struggle to do away with that screen, but it didn't. Finally, I allowed it. Now, whatever mail I write in my, we use Google Workspace for all our emailing things. So the Gemini is the one which is trying to help me. I am still not. It's like a new friend which I don't want, but still it is wanting to be friend with me. So over a period of time, maybe I get adjusted with it. But as of now, I am seeing some taste of Google Gemini in realistic front here. So it is basically an AI model from Google with multi-model capability. So it integrates all the text models, image models, audio generation models, and etc. And that is where, see, connected with the Google search and the workspace. That last one, that workspace is what I am using. And that's where I was forced to accept the Gemini services a couple of days ago. And in general, content creation application, writing blogs, articles, scripts, please allow your students to use these tools to generate the articles. If we ask them like, no, 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 you memorize and you write on your own, I'm not saying that is bad. I'm not saying that is bad, but it is analogously, it is as if like when somebody is using calculator to make the computations, and when we are forcing the people, no, study all the multiplication tables, memorize them, and then make the calculation, we are not actually doing good to that second student. We are making that person as a disadvantageous person. In our college days, when I was doing my +2 in late 80s, in math, if it is mathematics exam, it was a nightmare. I was never a good student, I was saying, right? So I couldn't recollect a lot of things, no formula, nothing. Whatever I could recollect, I write something and barely I just pass. That's how it used to be. At some point of time, they allowed us to use the so-called logarithm books. At some other point of time, they allowed us to use the so-called calculators, right? That way, I'm sorry. So that way, what is happening when we are saying like don't use the modern technology, we are not doing any good. That is more important. That is very important point. Somehow, some of us at least, who come from some conservative orthodox background, we refuse to accept that. We say like, no, you should write. Even my father-in-law, he's still alive. He's about 85 years old. He sees like what we do or what my children does. He's grandparent, right? He do not like that. He says like, no, Sriram, if you want to put a picture, you should draw. Then only you can say that it is your own drawing. I agree with it. I agree with it. If it is for your personal feeling, you do it. But if you are doing it for business, if you are competing with someone else, you are competing with someone else, you have to compete. You cannot say like, no, I'll be drawing pictures only by hand, which takes one week. Then his competitor is generating the similar kind of a picture within 1 minute using these tools. All creative business goes to the other person. We need to keep that in mind, right? We should encourage our students to adopt the new technologies. One more thing is that whether we encourage or not, we know those people always do those things. If I look back to my HOD days of that 1 year, eventful 1 year, we always do checks. We always check their bags for mobile phones. We never find anything, but we all know everybody is carrying mobile phone. I'm not sure who is fooling whom there. Every day we go rounds and we check and see that, yeah, there are no phones. We give a report. How many phones we found today? We say 0. But back of mind, we all know they are all carrying phones. In fact, if you just cross that compound wall, right? If we just cross the compound wall, we faculty members, if we are not getting better signals, not many people were actually having phone calls in those days. They used to ask that guy, hey, come here, give me your phone, I want to make an urgent call. Then he picks up, he take the phone from somewhere, from nowhere, in fact. Same thing here also. If you say like, don't use this tool, they definitely use that tool outside. Instead of resisting it, try to encourage them. You try to encourage them to use not only Gen AI in any technology. In fact, ask them to write blogs, ask them to write articles, ask them to write scripts by using tools. Let them become more and more productive so that they can compete with the other fellow members of their generation. Right? Many of us, once you are into teaching field or any other this kind of field, means most of you may be 30 plus, definitely 30 plus. We are on the way. In fact, my generation on the way to fade out, definitely. Your generation may be here for next 10, 15 years impacting the world. But the people who need to live here for the longer period is the people who are coming to your college, people who are in their teens and early 20s. If we put restrictions on their learning abilities and their productivity tools, we are doing a lot of injustice to them. All other people, the rest of the world is using them. And if they are not using it, then what will happen? Same story repeats in India as like Indian story. Microsoft and Metas and Facebooks and Googles, they are all born in US. Indian people being intelligent, regarded as more intelligent people after Israel are those Jews, right? That's somebody said that. I do not know whether it is right or wrong. They say like one of the most intelligent races, maybe second best is Indians. Some people may first, some people may third, some people may say we are fool also. That is a different thing. Idiots also. But we know we are relatively a lot intelligent than many other people in many other countries. But how many things we actually created here? We became assistants for people who are building Google on the other side. We became assistants for somebody who is building Meta on the other side. If we restrict the technology, if we restrict with all our conservative mindset, our next generation also will become assistants for the other people on the other part of the world. Instead, encourage them, ask them to write blog. Do not say like you write everything on your own. I'm not saying that you copy from there. Copying is a different thing. Use a tool, generate the blog, refine it. Use a tool, generate an article, refine it. Use a tool, generate the script, refine it. That's the way to go. Copying is a different thing. That is a different thing. That is, copying is the most heinous crime, but anybody can, commit anyway. Similarly, digital artwork. Somebody may not be able to write a straight line also, but still he became a good digital artist. Encourage them to use those things. Why should you pay thousands and thousands of rupees to some artist somewhere sitting in Japan to build your logo? When I joined in Wipro in 98, I believe, they came up with a big logo on that day. On the day I joined, that is the day it was actually unveiled by our respected Azim Premji sir. Sunflower was the logo with different vibrant colors. Till then, Wipro logo was something else. On that day only they changed. For that, some Italian guy has built it. I do not remember the exact number, but they say like in that announcement, they said like they paid crores of rupees to that fellow to build that image. He gave some reasons. I never believe in those things. He said like this green is meant for this, red is meant for this, the sunflower is resembling this, blah, blah, blah. He said a lot of things. I personally believe that your product should speak, not all these unnecessary things. Right? Not all unnecessary. Microsoft do not even have a logo. Right? It is the Microsoft product that becomes successful, not because of that logo. Google also same thing, right? So same thing with Wipro also. But people, they spend a lot of money to differentiate them from other people. Now, if I want to build a logo for my company, why should I pay that much of amount to those people? There's some Italian there. I myself spend an hour and use some digital tools here, generate the logo, and see if it is working. Do a small survey with my staff and my immediate consumers. If they say good, go ahead. If they say improve it, improve it. Let them know. All right, let them know. That is more important thing here, that they exist. Today I was speaking to one of very good person from the academic world only. He was saying that we have some people here who are very good. There are some people who are hopeless. They have a lot of backlogs. This person was feeling a lot bad about them. Krishna, tell me like how we can make them employable in one way or other way, somewhere. They cannot write a lot of code. Definitely, they are not that intelligent. For whatever reason, they were not doing that good. They were not very good in tools also. Like if you ask them like do the system administration, they may not be doing. They do not know how to set up a database engine also. However much we are trying, they are still having a lot of backlogs and they are not really doing good. I'm feeling very bad about that. Those people. Is there anything that we can do so that they can still survive after completing their engineering? I really happy with that person because he's feeling a lot bad about those kind of students. Instead of boasting, saying that We have like people having 40 LPA students, 50 LPA students. Of course, there are people with drawing that much of salary, but he's also equally feeling bad about the rest of the people there. I said, okay, he was saying that, Krishna, how about doing that certification or doing this job, this kind of training, something he was suggesting. Then I was asking like, okay, sir, you can do all of those things, but they also require a lot of technical skills. There is another thing called Figma. There is something called UI UX design. There is something called language translators. There are a lot of these kind of professions which comes under IT, but they do not require any kind of coding. You need to have systems knowledge. Finally, by the time they complete all their engineering subjects, definitely they will have some vague idea about what is computer science at least. They know at least what they don't know. I'm sure about that. So if you can at least teach them like how to use Figma to create nice UI UX screens, let us say for tabs or for mobiles or for web applications, that is one of the what you call attractive career in the industry. Very much attractive career. I pay lot of money only for that purpose. You need not be a C programmer. You need not to know any data structures. You need not to know any databases for that. You have some creative instinct. You can read the interests of people, and you translate them into something related to UI. They may not be creators, but at least if a creator says that I need such kind of a UI screen, and if these people can create a prototype of that UI, the workflows using Figma, Canva, whatever tools they are, and they can present it to their audience saying that this is how this application looks. And if they say like, okay, go ahead or make these changes. And finally, once you freeze it, you give the design guide to your actual development team. From there, actually, they start developing things. When I suggested that, he's a senior person. He said that, oh, Krishna, I do not know that there exists something like this. If such a person himself do not know that there exists this kind of a profession, how these students will know about it? Right? So encourage them to adopt as many tools as possible. Not only Gen AI, we are here to talk about Gen AI. These are the tools we see in that particular perspective, but need not be there. Anything that is a technology that you can embrace and make a living out of it, encourage them to do that. So personalized content recommendations, you open YouTube, you get bombarded with all these things only. Sometimes I feel lot bad about this content recommendation. Unfortunately, one day I open one particular video and it bombards me with similar kind of videos, even though I don't like any of them. At some point of time, it becomes so personalized that I forget that there exists something else beyond all these kind of things in YouTube or in LinkedIn posts or whatever. Good and bad, of course, but that is what you call an offshoot of it. Healthcare applications, medical imaging, definitely we know that. Drug discovery and research acceleration, I heard about it. I have no direct experience with it. Personalized treatment planning, again, I can understand what it is, but still, because I'm not from that domain, I do not know much about this. At some point of time, we were giving some consulting to GE Healthcare. There I picked a few points from how the technology is used in healthcare industry and etc. But that stops there. How they are using AI now, I can see that one of my school friend, he is in US now, he built a mobile app. What it does is like it listens to patients besides the doctor. They actually onboarded the tool just a few months ago. They got good funding also. So what happens is like the doctor and this tool sits next to each other. In the sense, the app is listening. Apart from the doctor, the app is also listening what the patient is saying. Earlier, if I go to any super specialty hospital, the so-called corporate hospitals, what generally these doctors does is like they listen to the patient and they record everything by typing a lot of stuff and write the prescription and they hit print, and then you get a printout saying that this is your medical report. Now doctors are not doing that. Doctors are spending more time with the patients. At least they get chance to speak more with the patients. Whether they are doing it or not is there, depends on their greed and corporate policies. That's a different thing. But they need not to spend or waste a lot of time in writing all this nonsense. Instead, the app that my friend has built, it is listening and it is documenting everything. It is documenting everything. It is making some recommendations also. So the doctor's job on the computer, earlier it used to be 15 to 20 minutes for every patient. Now it is 2-3 minutes. He is only looking at what is generated and making corrections out of his knowledge, because finally it is a doctor, right? His say is ultimate, his or her, and he changes the prescription if he feels that is not, there is a better way of doing it, and the tool learns from there. Next time it do not commit such kind of mistakes. So that way, earlier, if you are able to hear only 5 minutes about a particular patient, now you can spend 10 minutes. The patient feel more happy because doctor is listening to me. The doctor is listening to me. That kind of an empathy, that kind of a feeling gives a lot of confidence in the doctor for patient. That itself cures a lot of stuff. Right? When my doctor is hearing me saying that I am having this problem, I am having some headache, let's say. If he says that apart from headache, you are having anything else, or you are having headache when, or Monday morning, or Friday evening, or Saturday morning, is it regular? Then I feel like, oh, he's listening to me. I can open up more. I can tell more. The doctor can understand more my body condition. He can prescribe better. What is happening now in most of the corporate hospitals? I keep saying something to the doctor. Doctor do not even look at me. He turns towards the other side. There is a desk and the computer. Whatever I am saying, he keep on typing there. Body, the symptoms, blah, blah, headache, blah, 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 blah. And some point of time he look at me. Saying anything else? I say no. Okay, then blah, blah, blah. Write something. Okay, go ahead. I don't even have confidence that whether doctor actually listened to what I said or. That is what is happening everywhere. Whereas this app, this AI powered mobile app that I was referring to, the typing job, the documentation work, everything is that app is doing. Even the prescription also that guy is recommending for the final review of the doctor. So the doctor is always looking at the patient, not at the desktop machine. He is nodding his head. If the patient is feeling a little bit painful, the doctor is empathizing with that fellow. The patient feels like, okay, I'm in safe hands. That itself cures, I cannot quantify it, but that itself cures a lot of medical conditions, health conditions of the patients. That much I can say. AI powered medical imaging, it may not be medical imaging, but AI powered healthcare is going to be a super success. It is going to be a super success. Finally, retail and marketing application, that is where my domain, we do these kind of things more. That is our business belong to this area. So AI driven customer personalization, we bombard with that fellow saying like, oh, you bought that particular product last time. Now we got a better than that. We got some other thing. If you buy this one, this is also better. Apart from that, you see what Amazon is doing to your life, right? That is all that kind of stuff only. Chatbots for customer service. I think whoever joined yesterday's thing, I talked about my Slack experience. So chatbots are replacing customer service people more or less. Market trend prediction analysis, how accurate it is, I'm not sure, but without which I cannot make any decision. So in every area, you see these things coming into picture. Gaming and entertainment applications. Again, it is for content generation on the games, storytelling, virtual characters. If you take any part of the game itself is artificial thing created by human beings earlier. Now these the artificial games are built by artificial intelligence. That is how it is becoming, right? And yeah, that's it. So finally, the future of the multimodal AI, like the AI that comes from different models, textual and image or whatever, you see a convergence, of course. Instead of looking at one model for textual data, one model for images, you'll be seeing a convergence of these models. And you'll be seeing a lot of applications. Yesterday I was talking about like you use AI for learning, you use AI for assistance, you use AI for the next level. I forgot even what I said yesterday. But definitely the multimodal AI is going to be helpful definitely in the assistance level, the second level we call. The second level, it is definitely going to be useful. These assistants are going to be very much personalized. It is like earlier in our school days when I watch movies of our black and white heroes, Most of the places you'll have a boss and there will be a PA, personal assistant, as if like this guy is a lazy fellow. He dictates something, that fellow will note down everything. Now, if I see, like, at least in the IT industry, I may be trying millions of rupees as my salary, but I need to clean my coffee mug. That's the kind of culture we have. When I see these government offices and other things, we have some relatives who are in a very big positions in government offices. I wonder, like, the assistants come there, they cut apples and give them at 7 a.m. and give tea at 7 p.m., whatever may the timings. I see, like, why these people can't do for themselves. These are like hierarchical things, right? So now those human personal assistants are going to be replaced by personalized AI assistants. If I, instead of dictating the letter to my age old PA or stenograph, some used to be some kind of job roles in those days. Instead of for those people, I dictate it to my chatbot here. I say, like, okay, we need to send a quotation. So this is what I feel. Just go and prepare the quote. That fellow, the AI is going to prepare the quote for me. Right? So that way, enhanced productivity, right? If I have 10 people in my organization, all 10 people are working for the organization. Instead, 9 of them are working for my CEO or 9 of them are working for my senior manager. Everybody does something which is going to be good for the organization. All right? So that is, again, in future, we see all these things definitely. If not already, they are going to be there definitely everywhere. And autonomous systems, you talk about robotics, you talk about cars, you talk about anything, right? The surgeries, automated surgeries in healthcare, you see all those things coming there with whatever these self-learning and adaptive systems. I think this is the last. Oh, there is one more thing. So these are all basically few things that we need to concern about: open source versus proprietary. This has been a a battle that has been raised since we see the advent of open source in late 90s. Same thing is going to happen even today also, even in this front as well. So we need to see in future, like, whether it is going to open source that wins the race or proprietary AI that wins the race. We need to see this still. Ethical concerns, I think we spent some time yesterday on that. Let me not again repeat and make you feel bored about it. But still, we know that any technology, you take any technology, right? Any technology for that matter, is having two sides. It depends on how you are making use of it. All right. So that is, so let me not repeat or insist again. We know the importance of this one. And computational cost. So if we are mad about AI and if we want to do things more and more, it comes at a cost: environmental cost, energy cost, lot of cost, in fact, varieties of costs. We need to keep those things in mind when we are making decisions. In future, how this AI is going to, move, in which direction it is going to forward, are going to be impacted by all these things: the ethical regulations, the costs involved, whether it is going to be open source or proprietary. In all these direction, all these factors will impact the direction in which the AI is going to move. Right. So that's all from my side, at least from the presentation side. Please allow me a couple of minutes. I need to just attend small call, come back, and I'll take QA. Just give me a couple of minutes, please.
The audience can post their questions in the chat so that Krishna Mohan sir will come and answer. So if you have any queries or questions, you can type in the chat. So I request all the participants to fill the attendance sheet immediately. Now I request all the participants to switch on their videos for a photo session. So we would like to take a few photos for record purposes. I request all the participants to switch on their videos. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I am sorry I made you to wait. I just came back. Yeah, please proceed, Nagesh sir, before we take the QA.
First question and the last question. So already we are in the revolutionary area, revolutionary initiation of generative AI. So where it will take off in the next few years? So many directions like responsible AI, ethical AI, predictive AI, conversational AI. So how many AIs are going to come in future in the next few years? That's what we are wondering. Can you throw some light?
Okay, okay.
More specialized area.
Right. So let me say something. You listed out some AIs. I haven't even heard about some of them really, and we are 100% sure that there are few more AIs which we never heard about. In general, we are sure AI is a disruptive technology. This is going to what you call evolve more and more at a rapid speed than what we have seen in the last 1 decade. But in which direction it will go, as I just mentioned, according to my personal opinion, it is controlled or it is impacted by the kind of regulations that the governments across the world put in force. That is one very important factor with respect to protecting the copyrights of, protecting the privacy of, protecting the interests of people's business, products, or whatever. Those regulations may alter the wings of AI. That is for sure. That is one thing. Second one is political will. When it comes to political will, it is essentially like, as I mentioned, it comes at a cost. Means when we talk about cost, it is always about budget. So how these governments are the political governments, how much they are ready to allocate, very important thing. For example, yesterday we have seen governments changed in one of the largest and developed countries on the other part of the world, right? So you can see that the mindset of the outgoing government and the mindset of the incoming government are tangentially opposite to each other when it comes to environment. So if the new governments, not only this one, if the people who are in the positions now, if they say like don't care about the energy cost, go in full blown manner, you'll be seeing more and more players coming into picture. They'll be having more quotas about energies. They need not to pay for their what you call footprint. They call something like, I forgot that word, but right. So carbon footprint, yeah, right. So when the governments are saying that giving the free hand, you do whatever you want, then many organizations will be afford to do many things. The pace will be lot more. Instead, they put a break saying that no, it should not be like that. Even though AI is doing good, but at what cost? It is not worth doing. If that is what happens, then things will go down. The pace will go down. It goes down. It is not that it will reverse, go down. Technologically, apart from Gen AI, what other AI comes in? Just like you are saying, predictive AI and blah blah blah, which I, frankly speaking, I never know about them. As I said, I'm not very deep into these technologies. Those things at the research in your people like you keep on researching it. You keep on coming up with new concepts, new ideas, new products, new solutions. But definitely, whether they will get foothold, whether they will reach masses, when they will be, whether they will be commercialized or not, will greatly impacted by these important two factors: ethical regulations to take care of ethics, and the cost of doing it, whether it is worth or not. That's my personal opinion, of course. Beyond that, I do not have anything else to add to that, Dr. Nagesh.
Thank you very much. Now I request participants, they have any questions, they can pose the questions.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I have one small doubt actually. To become generative AI engineer, exactly what are the technologies that we need to learn? I mean, of course, we are all educators. We are all in the working in universities or colleges. So, if any person wants to become particularly Gen AI engineer. Before we are having all these software engineering people. I mean, software engineers we are having, they are learning some languages, Java, Python, like that, and they'll learn some database and they'll become testers like that. But nowadays, everyone is talking about AI, particularly for generative AI. What are the technologies we need to learn, and what is the right way? Right path to become generative AI, particularly learning the technologies. What are the technologies that we need to know? Thank you, sir.
Very good, sir. I hope it is Dr. Suresh Babu Garu who asked this question. Thanks for that question, sir. When you started that question, I was wondering whether I have an answer for that question, but now by comprehending it, I have something to share at least, maybe useful to you. When we talk about Gen AI, learning about concepts, of course, you educators will teach those things. You have a lot of textbooks and etc. But if I want to build a career around Gen AI, typically what happens is that, for example, in our organization, we purchased OpenAI APIs. OpenAI APIs. So when we develop applications, we use the APIs provided by OpenAI. Similarly, we use APIs of Google Translator APIs. Yesterday, I was talking about some case study in that area, right? So all these things are essentially to do with Gen AI. We have given some tools there, right? There are two ways of working with these AI tools, Gen AI. One is by becoming the end user of their output. Like if I am an author, I use ChatGPT so that it generates an article so that I publish and make living as an author. That is one way of doing it. Another one is adding value to it. Adding value to it. Let's say I want to develop an application. Most of this FDP is being done from RVR and JC. I assume that many of you may be from Telugu speaking community. Assuming that I want to build a portal where everything is in Telugu. Let's say I want to build an assistant for farming community that should be in Telugu. OpenAI can do everything. OpenAI can do a lot of things, not everything, of course, that is very superlative thing. It can do a lot of things, a lot of good things. But can a farmer really go and register for ChatGPT and ask questions? Can they give proper prompts for that? Probably not. Probably not. Even still, I am learning a lot of things with what do you call the ChatGPT, like what is the best way to get the better answer, right? So how I can help the farmer there? So what I do, we do value add. We develop an application where our team will talk to OpenAI on back end. On front end, it takes the input from the farmer. So farmer may ask through voice some question in Telugu. And our tool is supposed to frame the appropriate prompt to OpenAI to get the appropriate information from OpenAI and then present it to the farmer in the way that that fellow can understand it. This is what we call as value addition. Most of the career opportunities in the Gen AI front are in this particular niche area. People who are working at OpenAI, people who are working at Gemini, people who are working at Siri, people who are working at many other larger organizations are essentially like two intelligent people like you, kind of researchers kind of people. But for the end user products, right, the end user products, when you try to build an end user product, that is where the software engineer, the so-called traditional software engineer, come into picture. Just like they learn MongoDB to do data processing, they learn, let's say, React.js to develop a UI, they learn Flutter to develop, let's say, a mobile app. What they need to learn in the Gen AI, from whatever I understand, whatever I see, is that they need to choose an API of one of the Gen AI tools of their choice. The first choice obviously is going to be the GPT API. Once they learn that GPT API, currently I'm not still seeing many certifications for formal learning. It is trial and error only. Many of the people just purchase the API, get their support and build their applications. But that's the way to go. That's how they can add value. So as an educator, when you want to throw some light to your students saying that, okay, if you want to become a good person on the Gen AI, maybe what do you call, look at Chat GPT, get their API, look at their YouTube videos or their learnings or whatever, and build your own applications on top of Chat GPT. That is something that is a low hanging fruit that anybody can start doing right now. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions, sir? I think it is 9. It is very late for you. So any other questions, please ask me. Otherwise, we'll try to close it.
Now I request Dr. T. Anuradha Madam to propose vote of thanks for this session.
Okay, sir. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of all participants, it gives me immense pleasure to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Krishna Mohan Garu for delivering such an insightful session on the landscape of generative AI models. Your expertise in generative AI models, from foundational concepts like generative adversarial networks and their variants, variational autoencoders to advanced transformers, DALI, Lalama, Google Gemini, context create applications has been truly enlightening. The way you explained their concept, real world applications, and the ethical considerations was both comprehensive and engaging. We especially appreciate the practical examples and future trends you highlighted, which helped us visualize the vast potential and challenges of this rapidly evolving field. Your ability to bridge theory and practical relevances has inspired us to explore these models further in our academics and research. Thank you for dedicating your time, sharing your valuable knowledge, and addressing our queries with such clarity and depth. This session has undoubtedly expanded our understanding of generative AI. Once again, thank you, sir, for making this session a memorable learning experience. We look forward to more such opportunities to learn from your expertise in the future. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
So before closing, I request all the participants, suppose if there is any difference between your ATAL registration email and your present